10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Chapter systems are offline.
Welcome to the Banter Club. Join myself, Mark, along with TY, Jackie, and Mahal as we talk all things sport. We will definitely trash your team, and if you don't like it, we'll definitely tell you your favorite footballer is a tax evader. Join us every week on the Banter Club.
Are we really doing this?
Of course, we are definitely.
Before All right, what's up? Welcome to the very first episode of the Banter Club SA. Boo, 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 boo. I've got Mark and I've got Mahal, and my name is TY. And the first episode, we're going to be introducing ourselves, letting you, the listener, know exactly who we are, which teams we support, so that you can know when we banter, which angle we are coming from. Because some here, I doubt they really support their teams. They're just supporting Omlo. I'm expecting. But let's start with Mark there. Mark, introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? Which teams do you support?
It's Mark. Let me punt myself. It's Mark Mapori. I'm from the Free State in Valcom. Unfortunately, at the moment, I'm a very keen Kaizer Chiefs supporter. Another team was also struggling quite a bit, Chelsea. But we're in fourth now, so. Looking good. So far, so good. Kevin has also come back. So, I think we just lost TY.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, Mohau, I think, you can carry on while we wait for TY to come back.
Yeah, well, my name is Mohau Mushabo, all the way from the beautiful province of Limpopo, a small town called Luitrichat. And just to talk about my favorite team, especially locally and internationally, I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan, just like Mark. We are struggling, of course. I mean, everyone can see that. And then, looking at the international side of things, I'm a Liverpool supporter, which things are not looking right now, but hopefully we'll get back, especially looking at the UEFA Champions League.
Yeah, you'll never win alone.
Wow, the savagery. All right, my name is TY. I support the 10-time PSL champions, Mamelodi Sundowns. Been a supporter since 1998, so well over 2 decades. I've been supporting this team, the ups, the downs. I've been there, no pun intended in the downs. And internationally, I'm a Liverpool fan. I support Liverpool. You never walk alone. Started supporting the team because of Steven Gerrard, but I just fell in love with it, man. And we struggled. A whole 30 years, no trophy, no league trophy, but we got there. We got there. So when did you, Jen, start supporting the team you support? Let's start with Mahal.
I mean, with Kaizer Chiefs, I think I was born in a family of Kaizer Chiefs, so it was like, okay, dad supports Kaizer Chiefs. Let me jump into it. The early days of, I think, late 90s, 1999. That's when I realized, there's this thing called soccer, football. Okay, Kaizer Chiefs. And then I started loving players, the likes of Nzama, the likes of Patrick Mayo, Patrick Mabedi. I was like, okay, I'm a Kaizer Chiefs supporter, and of course, I mean, whenever there's local football, you look forward to the Soweto derby. So it was an interesting one where now Orlando Pirates has to play Kaizer Chiefs. At that time, I think Kaizer Chiefs managed to win a couple of games more than Orlando Pirates. So it's been a while supporting Kaizer Chiefs. But like you two, when it comes to Liverpool, I think I started loving Liverpool with the likes of Steven Gerrard. And of course, I mean, it was the Liverpool that no one knew anything about it until the likes of Jurgen Klopp coming through to Liverpool, signing a couple of players, and we saw them being the best team in 2019. I mean, and yeah, since then I'm the Reds fan, and we never walk alone.
All right, Mark.
I think with Chiefs, it's more of a family thing because my father used to support Kaizer Chiefs. So obviously, growing up in a family where everyone supports Kaizer Chiefs, you end up supporting Kaizer Chiefs. So yeah, I wouldn't say that. I think I just grew up in the Kaizer Chiefs environment, so it was very hostile towards any Pirates fans. So obviously, you're gonna go with what everyone is supporting. So with Chelsea, oh man, it was the time when Mourinho first started. I think that's when I started following Chelsea. I mean, that team was amazing. It had such class. It had John Terry, who was basically starting to boss English football. You had Frank Lampard having arrived from West Ham, who he was basically Mason Mount. I think that's how we know that Mason Mount is his son. Yeah, man. So it was Claude Makele. It was just I think it was sad that team never actually won the Champions League. We were robbed by that referee against Barca. But let's not talk about that. We did win the trophy. We are basically in the last in 2012 we became European champions. So yeah, man, the love is deep, man. My blood is blue. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And we're ahead of Liverpool.
By the way, guys, I think I've lied, especially looking at the international teams, because
you support Man United, huh?
No. I first supported Liverpool, and then at some point in time I was like, Liverpool, it's not promising anything. Yeah, let me go to the blue side of things. So I went to Chelsea. Chelsea up until Jurgen Klopp coming through to Liverpool. So now I realize, no, man, I've been a Chelsea fan at some point in time.
My goodness, I'll call loyal, Chief. I'll call loyal.
Yeah. No, it's definitely that Gerrard slip. When Gerrard slipped, a lot of Liverpool fans just slipped to other teams, man. They just went to Tottenham, man.
I stuck with them.
You're a very brave man.
I mean, Sundowns was sitting bottom of the log. Johan Neeskens was the coach, and I was still a fan. And I remember that during that time, during that era, I made it a point that I wore Sundowns jersey every day on my way to varsity on purpose, just to show that this team still has support. Stop.
Yo, and that time at that time, Sundowns was nowhere to be found. Like,
dude,
it was nowhere to be found. Yeah.
A question that's on my mind right now, looking at the fact that if we're being honest, most people in South Africa inherit their teams. Like both of you said, you come from Kaizer Chiefs families. I come from a Kaizer Chiefs family myself, but I just loved how Sundowns played their football and I chose to stay away. Do you see Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates still dominating in the next 10, 15 years in terms of fans, looking at how Sundowns is playing right now? And looking at the fact that Swallows was once one of the big two and they fell off, and the way Sundowns is going, do you think that Pirates and Chiefs are going to be top in the next 10 years? In terms of fans,
definitely. Look, I think in South African football, I think the big thing about Chiefs and Pirates is their history is going to keep them alive. I think very similar to what happens with a Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool was literally on the periphery of English football for 30 years. Okay, let me say like 25 years because they became quite good under Klopp. But I think because they're such institutions and they take up such a big chunk of football in South Africa, it's very difficult for them to fail. However, I think they need to rethink how they run their clubs right now because the game has changed. You can't do things the same way. Like Chiefs cannot now still go chasing free agents. It's a big club. They need to start acting like a big club. Not be reckless with money, but ensure that you invest in the youth. Because I mean, I think Kaizer Chiefs has got some brilliant players, but they for a long time they struggled to get them through into the first team. I mean, there was a time where Itumeleng Kun was the only academy player. So now, luckily, with the ban, we're seeing a lot more of the guys coming through from the academy. Similar to Pirates. Pirates' academy is very, very dodgy. I mean, they're not doing much to actually bring the players in because, I mean, you're buying how many? Six Wits players, which I think, fine, it's a bargain, but you're killing the opportunity that the youth can have when it comes to actually getting game time in the first team. So I think they need to really think about how they run their club. They should still act like the big sides that they are. Make sure that you get in the quality players in, but importantly, invest in your youth, invest in getting, because I mean, we have such great academies, but okay, not a lot of them, but like we have bits and parts of really great academies within the country, but obviously they're not taking from there. So they need to get scouts in. They need to ensure that they need to act like big clubs, man.
But look at it this way.
I mean, I agree.
Look at it this way. I'm sorry to interject there, but when it comes to Liverpool, using Liverpool as an example, Liverpool won a Champions League in 2005. So you can't compare the two.
Okay, they won Nelson Mandela in like 1990 something.
But that was before the fall.
True.
But guys, I agree with Mark. You know, as much you can tell that right now.
Is this Chiefs fans United right now?
No. I'm talking about the entire football, especially local football. As much as Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates want to keep the same structure that they've been using in the 90s, but things are changing and they have to adapt to those changes. And if they don't do that, I fear to see something like that happen to Bidvest. So I don't want to say that in the next years we're likely to see Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates being relevant, but we can never say never, guys. Especially we've seen what happened to Bidvest. I mean, it was about to celebrate its 100th year, a century, and then all of a sudden things tend to went U-turn. So things can happen where we might be talking in the next 10 years or maybe 20 years. Kaizer Chiefs is no more there. Hopefully not, but hopefully not though.
But what went wrong for Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates? I mean, let's look at the football aspect, right? I mean, I feel like they were playing perfectly great football. I mean, especially Kaizer Chiefs, at some point they were playing good football but not winning. Under Baxter, they were not really playing entertaining football, but they were still winning. So since Baxter left in 2015, what went wrong? What can't the coaches get right? I mean, there's been Solinas, there's been Steve Kompela, there's been Kevin Hunt, Middendorf. There's been so many coaches. What can't they get right that Baxter was getting right?
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to keep the same structure that they had before, which it's no more there right now. I mean, look what's happening right now. Looking at the PSL, the likes of Amazulu, the likes of Golden Arrows, those teams seems to coming with a new structure, new play. Swallows, Kaizer Chiefs has to keep up with those teams. Orlando Pirates has to keep up with those teams. I mean, as much as we can say that Orlando Pirates is playing, yes, they've won the MTN 8 Cup, but I haven't seen the
Celtics.
I haven't seen the Orlando Pirates that we want to see. I haven't seen the tactics of Coach Zimba looking at Orlando Pirates. Maybe they've managed to beat, of course, Kaizer Chiefs 3 times. Looking at the Soweto Derby, yes, Kaizer Chiefs is not performing very well, but still, we haven't seen what Coach Joseph Simba want to show us with his team, with his players. Yes, those players looks like the players are playing their individual games and stuff like that, but they're the ones who are winning the ball. But looking at Coach Zimba, nothing is there. The same as Kaizer Chiefs as well. We cannot see what's happening with Kaizer Chiefs. As much as we can say that, yes, Coach Kevin Hunt is a good coach, but still, you cannot keep the same morals, values, the same structure that you've been using in 2002, where you won sort of this cup or the league. I think things have changed now. It's 2021. You need to adapt. Join the teams. Look at what Solis is doing. Look at what Amazulu is doing. Are doing. Look at what Golden Arrows is doing as well, and try and do the same thing that they are doing. I mean, you are a better team, of course. You've got great resources. You've got enough resources to utilize those and get your team into shape and adapting to the latest game that the other teams are playing.
I think, I think one of the important. Let's go to that team there from Pretoria. If you look at
You mean the current champions?
Yep.
look, that's besides the point, man. That's besides the point. Let's not talk about things that have passed. We're talking about current, but but anyway.
No, you should allow them, give them the.
I mean, 15 games in the unbeaten. It's when last did you hear of that? I get that Swallows, but where's Swallows sitting versus where Sundowns is sitting? 3 league titles in a row. When last did that happen? It's like dominance, a treble. It's total dominance. No one is coming close.
Yeah.
Last 11 CAF Champions League games, only one loss. Well, 12 now after the last game against Al Hilal. That's total dominance.
No, but again, it comes back to that investment in because let's be honest, the one team that has had great continuity. Let's look at the coaches. I mean, since Nieskens came, how many coaches have you seen? It's been Pizzo, they've kept with him. There's been times where Pizzo, it felt like, no, he should go, but they kept him and they kept with him and they understood what he was trying to achieve. You look at how he's brought in a lot of the youth players. I mean, even though he brings in like a ton of players, but the youth are still there. The coaches, they don't change much. Look, now Pizzo's gone, but they didn't go and hire a new coach. They just brought in the same guys who've been there with Pizzo. So there's a sense of continuity, and I think that's why they're doing so well. I mean, Motsepe is investing. Apparently, like the last time I read, rumor has it that he was putting in 100 million of his own money into the club on a yearly basis. So
yes,
that just shows that the man is willing to put his heart and soul behind that team. And that shows on the pitch, because I think there's a structure there. There's continuity. There's belief in what Sundown stands for, and I think that's where maybe Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates are lacking a bit. I mean, how many coaches have they had? I mean, Chiefs probably stays with a coach for like 3 seasons at most, and then they change whether or not that coach is winning. And I feel that is the reason why you find a lot of the times Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates have these stop-start seasons, because you can't expect coaches to change all the time, because the bulk of the players usually stay the same, and it becomes very difficult for them now to start adapting to different coaches. And we also know there's that issue of them hiring coaches without the right coaching badges, getting PE guys to come on. Like Vermizovic was a terrible coach, guys. I know he won a few trophies, but he was quite terrible. He wasn't the type of coach that clubs like Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates needed. So, yeah, man, I think that's why. And I think with SuperSport, just to go another direction, SuperSport is adopting a similar mentality whereby they're trying to keep at it with coaches that have been there, and I think it's served them well. Look at how guys like Bradley Grobler are now playing. I mean, he's probably one of the best players this year. So, yeah, man, I think continuity and having some sort of structure and identity is very important for our game to improve. So, yeah, man, Pretoria is doing it well.
You speak
but
about.
I think even if you can look the DSTV logo, it says exactly what you're saying. Just look at the teams that are sitting at the bottom and talking about changing coaches. I mean, Black Leopards, the likes of TTM, Chipa United, those teams, when it comes to changing coaches, it's always a mess. And they always the chairmen will tell you, no, when you bring a coach and then he doesn't deliver on what we have agreed on, and like, how, come on guys, it's only 3 games, and then the coach has to now adapt, and the players have to adapt with the coach that they've signed. And as Mark has said that with Pizzo there was the point in time where Pizzo had to go, and I mean the fans wanted nothing to do with Pizzo when it comes to Mamelodi Sundowns. But I think what the president of Mamelodi Sundowns did was definitely right to keep Pizzo Msimani, and because he kept him, now we managed to see Sundowns even winning the the CAF Champions League, and being the best team in South Africa. Of course, I mean, it was because of the decision that he made to say that, okay, as much as we're not getting the result right now, but we know what we have planned, we know our goal, and we're looking forward to keeping you maybe for the next 5 years, and hopefully by then this team will be the best team in the country.
So speaking of coaches, what is up with us rotating the same coaches? Like, I mean, you find that Dylan Kerr goes to Baroka, goes to Leopards, then he's at Cheaper, then Malesela's probably coached half of the league already. What is up with us? And the problem I have with it, though, is that it's not something new. You look at your Paul Dolezars, you look at your Ted Dumitrous, your Victor Bondorekos. Like, what is up with us rotating the same coaches?
Well, I think it comes back to power. I mean, if you are the president or the chairman or whatever, the boss of the team, you feel like, man. And also, I mean, wanting to be fully in control, especially when it comes to, because you could hear a couple of coaches when they said that no, and the chairman will come and tell me I should put on this player or put this player on bench or not play this player. So, I mean, it's as much as they are the boss, but you should give the coaches or the managers their own space when it comes to choosing the players which they want. And of course, signing players. I mean, we've had the likes of before Stuart Baxter left Kaizer Chiefs, there was a couple of issues when it comes to signing players where Stuart Baxter wanted this player, then you could hear Bobby Mutaung wanted the other player. So it's always that thing of, I'm the boss, I've got the money, I'm the one who's supposed to be in charge of this whole thing. And comparing our league with the Premier League, you can tell the difference when it comes to the Premier League, where now the managers, the coaches are the one who decides when it comes to signing the players, when it comes almost everything that has to do with the team. So, I mean, even when it comes to firing them, it's not that easy to fire them because, I mean, they deliver because they use players which they feel that they need at that moment in time, unlike the teams unlike the teams that are in the Premier Soccer League or South African football.
No, I hear you, but I mean, why is it so hard for a Chiefs to go look for Zinabia and bring him to South Africa? Why is it so hard for Shakes Mashaba to get a job in the PSL? I'm struggling to understand the concept of us constantly just recycling coaches, and I don't understand that notion.
No, Shakes Mashaba never paid his that guy's account, so they blacklisted him. This
guy.
I think the big thing with our coaches is that it's so difficult to go outside of the country and get a decent coach, because I think it's difficult to gauge where they are in terms of their football, because the really good coaches are already at top clubs, and money wise it's not viable. So I think, again, I mean, you're looking at guys like who's been around, Steve Kompela, who's Dylan Kerr's basically coached the whole of Limpopo.
Yeah,
and I think it's again. I think our soccer chairmen are quite lazy, man. They don't put in enough. Again, scouting is very important, not just for players. I mean, you need to go and find the guys that really understand football.
But again, look at the TS Galaxy team, what the boss did when they bought Highlands Park. They let go of Coach Owen Dagama, which he was doing very well with the team, and he knew the players. The question was, why do you let go of him? And then he called in, I think the coach that went in was, who's this coach that you're saying that he almost Dance Malisela? Yeah. And then all of a sudden now Dagama is back. Why let go of him in the first place?
I don't blame him for that.
He was doing very well with the team.
I don't blame Tim for that. If I would own the club and Owen Dagama was the coach, I'd fire him first thing as well. I goofy that guy.
Aibo.
He's definitely a group. I take personal offense. Last season, he said Kaizer Chiefs should win the league. I'm like, why should they win the league? They must earn the league. You know what I mean? I think it was after the 50th celebration game with the cake and everything. He was all
Yeah.
Chiefs' praises, and I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't. I don't care which team you support, but if you don't believe in your own team, why are you coaching them? I did not understand that. I don't care, dude. I could be bottom of the log, and I'm not about to praise another team to win the league. I'm sorry. My team should be winning the league. That's what I'd be asking
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the meeting.
I was listening to another podcast like months ago, and I think it was mentioned that the biggest problem with our football is that you have 2 or 3 teams that say, you know what, we're going to win the league, and then the rest of the PSL is playing for top 8, and that fundamentally is a problem. So, because I mean, we all know that the first 3-4 spots. The first 3 spots are for continental competitions, cup games. You know, if you're the winner of the cups, we know that we understand, and usually the bigger clubs go out and actually do well there. But now the problem is that everyone wants to be in top 8. I mean, if everyone wants to be in top 8, who's going to challenge the guys at the top? When is our football going to get better? And I think this top 8 business must end.
But should you expect the likes of Machine to come and say, no, I want to win the 2021 DSTV Premier League, especially look at where they're sitting?
I'm expecting Mushin to be retiring. You know what I'm saying? Mushin should be retired. I mean, there was this one coach that coached Barroca. Before the guy with the one glove, he beat Kaizer Chiefs. Where is he now as a coach? I was expecting to see him do amazing things.
Oh, you're talking about the guy who they're accusing of stealing 2 million from TTM?
That's the dude.
He should have just been a coach. That's all I'm saying. He was a brilliant coach.
I'm not sure if he's still the CEO of TTM since TTM is sold to another person, but yeah, he's the former CEO of TTM and he stole 2 million. But yeah, you could. But again, I mean, I doubt he's the best coach, because I would compare him with the former Barroca coach. Who's that guy who would tell you that football will kill you, die real death? Yeah.
Where's he?
I think he's coaching in the, if I could be mistaken, isn't he in like the ABC Motsepe ranks at the moment?
But are you hearing that though? How, Sway? If we recycling coaches couldn't recycle the good ones at least?
But he had a drinking problem.
Yeah, I think it was the time that he was let go. It was issues of drinking. But guys, one concern about me is the issue of the Nedbank Cup. I mean, letting go of those teams from the ABC Motsepe, which they've played the first round amongst the league teams, and then they managed to win. But because of COVID-19 and the lockdown restriction, Nedbank Cup decided to know those teams, the Glad Africa Champions League teams, which didn't manage to win, to qualify, they should come back and join the other guys. Now we'll have 32 teams from both DSTV and Glad Africa Championship, which I doubt is a fair decision, as much as you can tell that, okay, I mean, Nedbank Cup, they're the one who are paying, they're the one who have the money, they can decide whatever they want to decide, but I don't think it's a fair call, especially looking at the teams from the ABC Motsepe, which they were looking forward to participate within in this cup.
I think it was not a fair call, but I'm looking at the fact that I'm looking at it from this point of view, right? They've banned all non-professional football, so there's only 2 leagues in the country that are playing, which is the Glad Africa Championship as well as the Premier Soccer League. Now, how often were those teams going to play? How was their match fitness going to be if they're going to compete in the Nedbank Cup? You know, so I feel like it saved them in a way, because they were going to come and complain and say, look, we can't play a game against Sundowns when we haven't played in the past 3-4 weeks. It was not going to make sense, in my opinion.
But guys, I think the PSL have done this whole bio bubble thing. I think immediately they should have known, or to say that, okay, we have 16 teams from the ABC Motsepe League. How about we gather these teams at this point in time? Maybe Nedbank will want to pay, and then the teams will be at that point up until the Nedbank Cup comes to an end, or up until their league resumes, to say that, okay, now you can go back to your league, and then you'll come back when it comes to playing
But their league
Nedbank
is
Cup
not
games. But
I mean, look at a team like Running FC. The Sundowns beat,
yeah.
Pirates is now beating. That team, you can tell, they have not played football in a very long time. You know, football in Botswana has not been resumed since last year. You can tell they've not played football in a very, very long time. Now, you can imagine a Motsepe League team playing against not even a Sundowns, a Baroka or Cape Town City, and they literally have not played in like 3 weeks. It's going to be a problem.
But guys, I mean, they've only missed out on the round 32. I mean, their league is resuming next month. So,
that's actually very unfair. Now I feel you. But we just didn't want to see another power line situation. You know what I mean?
Well,
Sundowns references. Man. No, but yeah, I think it's important because I think again, our football in the country it relies a lot on the teams that are from ABC and lower, like your SAB leagues, because that's really where most of our clubs get their talents. So I think I mean, even though there's the risk of getting a Power Lines FC scoreline, but I think it would be great for the players to also get that exposure. I mean, playing on national TV is always a big deal for these teams because firstly they'll get some sort of financial boost. I mean, right now they are struggling because there's I'm sure the funding has stopped. I'll just check that, but I think it would have been great for them to appear on TV. I mean, as you say, they should have maybe tried to get in the whole bio bubble. But I guess that's also quite an expensive exercise. So, yeah, it's sad, but unfortunately, that's just how it is.
Let's discuss finances in football for a minute or so, right? And something's been weighing very heavy on my chest. And as Chiefs fans, I want to get your opinion on this, right? So, Motsepe is investing about 100 million a season into Sundowns. Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates were rumored to have signed a R1 billion deal over 5 years with Vodacom each. That's 200 million over 5 seasons. That's just from one sponsor. It's gone up.
Yeah, because I think just before that it was at 100 mil, so it's definitely gone up. I think the
question here.
I think that's again we can only go on rumors with these because I think within the PSL the biggest issue is that we're not privy to the finances. I mean, when last did you hear about a fee for a player unless you might have heard it from someone who has some inside info? We always hear of the European guys where you hear like a Kai Havertz is like 80 plus million, but in South Africa we don't hear that. We don't know exactly how much they're paying for the players, so it becomes very difficult for us to gauge whether or not 100 million is enough. I mean, if you look at a team like Pirates, they brought in 6 highly rated players from Wits, and I'm sure they're not cheap. Okay, they might have got them for a bargain because then they were out of contract. But at the end of the day, I mean, maintaining those players must not be cheap. I mean, so I think what makes it difficult is that we don't know exactly how much these guys are earning. I mean, some players are still earning like below 50,000 rand, while some players are earning 10 times that amount in a month.
Bavuma.
So we don't know, and I think for me that's always the issue.
But one thing I know, guys, when it comes to football, players are the ones who are earning a lot compared to anyone else. I mean, I'm not sure about teams making a lot of money. I mean, and if we could look at TTM, you might question why did the new manager decide to run away after buying Bidvest within few months. Maybe so, no, man. There's actually nothing here to make. Players are the ones who are making money. Players, you could hear salaries of 600,000 per month, and I mean, and when it comes to teams, let's talk about teams' expenditures. I mean, they have to pay for flights, they have to book hotels, those things, food as well. I mean, you find that the team has to spend
Chiefs
close
just
to a
spent a
million, I think.
just on Morocco. Yeah.
You see, you spend about a million. I think within a week you might spend close to a million when it comes to your expenditure. Because I mean, especially talking about Chiefs now. Look at Chiefs and Bloemfontein Celtic. Those two teams are quite different. Now, Bloemfontein Celtics has to travel to play the CAF Champions League. It's quite a difficult one for them, and they have to pay their. And with COVID-19 as well, it's much worse because now they do testing here in South Africa. They will do testing when they arrive at that side. Before they leave, they have to do testing, and you have to pay for those tests as well. So, I mean, teams, when it comes to finance, I don't think they make a lot of money compared to players. Players are the ones who are making a lot of money. Looking at the finances in football. I mean, the clear example would be TTM. As much as the former manager or the former owner, Mr. Mudawuzi, won't say or why did he decide to sell the team, but clearly you could tell or no, man, there's nothing here to
No, but
get
I
a
think
bargain of.
the TTM story was a very special case because I mean they were struggling financially in the NFD. You know, their finances were not in order, and then Jiggy Jiggy they've got 100 million. Something's fishy.
Yeah. But remember, with these leagues, when it comes to the higher league, which is the Premier Soccer League or the DStv League, you get to receive a monthly a payment from the league. So I think he saw that, said, okay, if we are receiving this amount of money from the league every month, maybe it might boost us compared to being in the Glad Africa Championship, where you might receive a smaller amount of money, and then after winning the league, maybe that's when you receive a million or 3 million rand from a Glad Africa group. And then with the likes of Boma, what's this league? ABC Municipal League, there's no money that you receive every month. So teams have to make ends meet within those months.
Wow, wild. Jackie just walked into the
Hey
building.
guys,
What up, Jackie?
I'm good, you
How
guys.
you doing, man? Good. You're a little bit
Well,
late, but welcome.
I'm good, guys. I've been listening to you guys, man. It's interesting topic, man.
But before we even go far, can you just introduce yourself? Who are you? Where you from? And just let the listener know which team you support and why you
Okay, my
support
name
those
is
teams.
Jackie Lewe. I'm actually a lawyer by profession. Also a radio personality. I started out radio in 2017 till today. Locally, I support Mamelodi Sundowns in football. Mamelodi Sundowns. Internationally, in England, I support Manchester United. What are you guys saying now?
I'm sorry. It's something inside me when you said Man United. I'm sorry. Carry on.
One of the major reasons why I support Mamelodi Sundowns, for example, it's growing up. In fact, a lot of people were so much into the big two at that specific moment. Your Kaiser Chiefs, your Orlando Pirates, and I came from a home where we decided otherwise. My grandfather and my grandmother were Sundowns fans from a young age, so that also came to me basically until today, man. I enjoy the culture, Mamelodi Sundowns. I enjoy the philosophy of Mamelodi Sundowns, and if you look at one of the reasons why I support big teams like Mamelodi Sundowns, you can even check in England is that United is actually the most recognized English team in English football. So I like supporting teams that have dominated leagues before. I know Mahal will not relate with me because he's a Liverpool fan, but it's one of the reasons why I support big teams like Sundowns and Manchester United. But despite that, I'm also into different sporting codes. Your cricket is actually my first love. I didn't really start out loving football like most people do, but I started out loving cricket. My brother's the one who's actually introduced me to football, and I started loving it so much. And that's when my love for sports even went further. I started following your Olympics, started following your different sporting codes, your tennis, rugby, and so forth. So that's where I decided, you know what, because of the love for sports, let me just venture into radio, for example. That's where my first love for radio came into the picture. I started out as a sports news reader, And then I realized that let me get into the sport presenting part of radio. That's when I decided to get into sport presenting. So I presented my first show while in varsity at Northwestern University, where I hosted a show called The Locker Room. Then I hosted it for a year over 1 year, 2 months, I think. Then I left Northwestern University, came back to Limpopo, decided to audition more. That's when I got a gig at Motion Sense HD. I hosted a show called MSC Sports Desk, where I learned so much. But I left a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm venturing into something new, which I will tell the listeners very soon. But despite that, my daily life is basically it's low. But my love for sports is so deep to an extent that I want to venture into sports law. So yeah, that's action of
That's dope.
Robert Mara, no, because maybe guys, I don't know if you know Robert Marawa's story. Like Robert must studied law, and then he basically quit the law with apparently his last exam or something like that, and then he went into sportscasting. So yeah, man, it's a good omen.
Yeah.
It's a good omen.
Yeah, and I think we need more broadcasters though from South Africa because we don't have enough. We have the same gents hosting on DSTV and on SABC that have been there for I don't know how long. Where are the young ones that are coming into the game?
Guys, don't hate on Pomozo Manenge. Please, guys.
Hey.
And he's still pretty new to it as well.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's still
true.
new. Yeah, still new and young. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
But I mean, you've got your Dwayne DeLocas. How long has Dwayne DeLocca been there?
But I think when it comes to commentary box, I think I love how the change tends to happen very fast because I mean you have the likes of Botebo who went to SABC, now he has moved to SuperSport. Clearly, maybe SABC will have to welcome the new guys as well because people are running away from SABC to SuperSport. So I'm looking. I like how the things when it comes to commentary box happens. So with commentary, I think it's moving right. It's moving on a right path, I think.
Yeah, I feel you. But what about all the other sports segments? I mean, Robert Marawa's hosting on 2 different radio stations at the same time. Robert Marawa's got his own thing, and then he's on SuperSport. Oh, he was on SuperSport. That guy had like 4 jobs. Why can't they just give Radio 2000 to a youngin?
No, I think. Look, I think we need to also realize that if someone is talented, remember at the end of the day, these are businesses that need to make business get their bottom line. But it's important that we know that no, he's there because he's talented. I mean, we can't dispute that. But at the same time, I think things like what we're doing, guys like what's this? Is it Pagati and all the, because they all started quite small and they've grown. And I think it's our responsibility to ensure that we grow the space. I mean, without having to say that we want Robert Marawa spot, we can create different platforms. I mean, I know for a fact I am not going to be all politically correct and say in respect to this, and it's just not who I am. If I think a team is trash, it's trash. You know, we're not going to front. But I think it's important that we create platforms where we're able to then express ourselves, because I think it's like that whole open up the industry. Why open up the industry when you can create your own platforms and actually grow from there? Because not everyone enjoys watching, because there's alternative commentary, for example. So, for example, there are guys who, when a football game plays, then they will do an alternative commentary on a podcast or something. And people then switch off the normal Babam Tetwa, and then they listen to the alternative commentary, where guys are much more honest about what's happening in the game, So, but again, you get guys like, who's that? Peter Drury. I mean, man's talented. You can't take that man off TV.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think it's our job to just create different platforms for us to also, grow the space, especially in South Africa.
And I thought you said you weren't going to be politically correct. That was so politically correct. It was perfect.
And again,
thank you for recognizing me, Chad.
And again, I think you're quite right. I mean, there's only one Robert Marawa. So for as long as the rest of the guys who are coming behind want to be like Robert Marawa, that means that the platform will be for only for Robert Marawa until there's someone else who will say, no, guys, I'm Tepo, yeah, and this is how I do things. And then, okay, oh, now it looks like there's this new Tepo thing, and the people are loving it. Let's bring Tepo to the platform. Robert, could you shift this side and give Tepo a platform? So, I mean, for as long as we try to be like Robert Marawa, Peter Drury, as much as we want to learn from them, but the best thing is to be yourself, and of course, introduce new things which you're likely to take on the platform.
Facts on facts. All right, I think we've been at this for like an hour. We need to wrap this up now. Now, tough ones. Yeah. PSL, let's start in the PSL. Who's winning the league? Your top three, and who's getting relegated? Your bottom two.
Oh.
Let me start with Jackie.
It's a tough one, man. For me, I think looking at what's currently been happening, if you look at the top four in particular, it's been very tricky. You've got a Sundowns team that is actually not, as much as they win a lot of games, but they're not the most convincing team, but they're still doing enough. Then you look at a team like SuperSport United, which I feel this season has the capability to actually compete and actually potentially win the league title. Then you've got a Swallows team, which I think eventually they're going to start dropping points completely. If you look at the last couple of games, they've drawn a lot of games. They've not really won much last couple of games. And you've got a Pirates team. Yeah, I've got a Pirates team. I was telling Mao a couple of weeks back that Pirates has got a lot of quality players, but it seems as if they just don't know how to be consistent. And it's something they have been struggling with the last couple of seasons. And it doesn't look as if it's going to change anytime soon, because one moment you find that Gazy is winning games, the next thing he's losing games. And that's not how you win league titles.
Well, he only wins Kaizer Chiefs games. Only. Yeah. We cannot, you don't count those games, because Kaizer Chiefs is a team which is...
As long as the Chiefs fans recognize who's on top this season, we all good.
But if I have to predict, looking at so far this season, I don't want to sound biased. I still think Downs has enough quality. I think they will take it again this season. I just don't think the likes of SuperSport United they potentially might take Sundowns to the final last couple of games of the season, but I don't think they can actually take the league title, because Sundowns has enough experience. And that's where the likes of Tom Pukakana are going to be very important towards the last couple of games of the season, because they know how to win league titles and so forth. But I think Downs will take the league title. If you're looking at the bottom, for me, it's going to be very straightforward for me. I still think the Black Leopards, they don't have quality enough to remain the PSL this season. And I also think as if Maritzburg United, there was a time where I actually thought that they can actually remain the PSL when the Middentop returned. We did very, very well the first couple of games. But lately, because they're losing a lot of key players, I don't think they will actually be in the DSTV Premiership next season. If they do remain, it will be probably through the playoffs, in my own opinion.
All right, Mahal, let's hear from you.
I agree with what Jackie has been saying, especially with the likes of Soilos, of course. I mean, it's still early days. I see them dropping not as far as Boma, position number 5 or 6. Definitely, Orlando Pirates won't win the league. I mean, there's nothing to say from Coach from Coach Joseph Zimbao. I mean, as Jackie has said, that, I mean, players are playing, but you're not sure what type of games they have. You don't know what's plan A or plan B. I'm saying that, I'm still repeating this, that Coach Zimbao, as much as he has won the MTN 8, it was a sort of given by the kids that said that, okay, this is our present to you, get the 8 million. So before I could say which team is likely to win the league, looking at the bottom, I think Black Leopards has to go out. I'm sorry, I'm a Limpopo guy, especially close to them. But Black Leopards and Chiba United are the teams that I want to see them out. Probably, hopefully, maybe TTM with the new management, we're likely to see something new. So, thumbs up for them. Hopefully, something will happen. But Super Sport, I like what Coach Katano Tembo said. He said that the last 2 or 3 seasons they've been chasing the league. Right now, they want to be the team that the other teams has to chase them when it comes to the league. So if Sundowns Earbizer, SuperSport will come and take the league. So I think we're likely to see what happened in 2010, 2011 ABSA Premiership season, where you had Orlando Pirates with 60 points and Ajax Cape Town with 60 points. The only thing that separated those teams was goal difference. So hopefully the teams from from Pretoria, if Kaizer Chiefs doesn't fix these things up, but I want to see Kaizer Chiefs going up, man. Now I cannot talk about teams from Pretoria. So Kaizer Chiefs has to go up, but I'm looking forward to see SuperSport winning the league.
All right, Mark.
Chiefs won't make in the top 8.
I think it's the top. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I think it's almost. Yeah, you can't bet against Mamelodi Sundowns for winning the league. I mean, they've got literally all the PSL players in their team, so they definitely, I think, have enough depth.
That's not cool.
Mara, you guys bought everyone last year. So I think it's. I don't know. I'm not convinced of TTM. I know they're in 14th, technically clear, but I have a feeling Maritzburg is going to improve with Mazinho.com at the helm. They're definitely going to improve. I mean, that man is a fighter. I don't know why he didn't fight for the league last season, but anyway, that's a story for another day. But I'm not convinced of TTM. I think there's a lot going on in that team. I'm going for TTM to get the automatic drop. Black Leopards is probably going to make it 15th, and then Chipa will barely survive in 14th. But I think, and then the surprise team for this season, I think, I think Cape Town City might do some good things. They've got a very interesting way of playing, so I think watch them. I think they might just break into the top 4.
You reckon Ricky Rick could do some nice things there?
He can, I think he's brought some sort of stability. I think with Benny, it was starting to get out of hand a bit, like, because you could feel that the players were not all excited to have him there. You could see there were divisions. So I think with Ricky Rick, I think there's some sort of structure that's back in the side. I mean, you have Tawo Nodada playing out of his skin. You have guys like. Who's this guy who plays out Surprise Ralani, who's doing good things. So I think it's a very decent team. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do for the rest of the season.
Yo, guys, the way we're overlooking at what's this team? Golden Arrows. I mean, hopefully it's gonna surprise us somehow, because I mean, they've been consistent throughout. I mean, they've only lost now recently. I mean, and it's a team which it doesn't have no sponsors, and I mean, for now, my favorite coach is the coach who's coaching Golden Arrows right now, because I mean he seems to have everything under control, and hopefully they'll get to manage to position number 2 and disappoint a lot of us.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to see Chiefs probably fighting for relegation this season. Maybe ending.
My brother in arms.
It's getting personal now. It's getting personal. Let's not get personal, guys.
It's just banter. This is the banter.
TY, which team is winning the league? TY, let's move right along.
In terms of winning the league, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Sundowns going to win the league. I mean, 15 games, 9 wins, 6 draws, pretty impressive. Best record thus far. They're quite ahead with the game in hand. In terms of relegation, I'd love to see one of the status buyers actually get relegated, TTM or TS Galaxy. Either one, I'd be very happy, because it's going to be a lesson that money doesn't buy you success.
Yeah,
it takes time, it takes commitment, and it takes a lot. So I feel like those two teams, one of them needs to go. Leopards, Maritzburg, they will survive. They'll be fine. But TS Galaxy or TTM, surely one of them is going to be in the bottom two. And then let's take it to the EPL. Who's winning the league in the EPL? Or is it already over?
It's over. Man City. Man City's taking it.
Ye of little faith.
As a United fan, after what I saw over the weekend, City's taking it. I just don't see United competing for the league title this season. I remember 2 weeks back, I was jumping for joy because we're on top. I was like, most probably we might take it. But again, like most teams are across the world right now, United is not consistent. And if you realize that, particularly when it comes to home games, we have not done enough. We drop a lot of points. And if you look at City, City is getting into form, man. And remember, they also have got 2 games in hand. So it's going to be very difficult for any team to actually catch them this season. The way in which they humbled Liverpool last week is a clear example of what they are capable of doing. Getting personal, bro. So,
but
Liverpool had their time. No, but just to add on to the Man United, I think Man United's biggest problem is that against the smaller clubs, they just don't pitch up. Because I think if we go in the last ever since Ole Bocheng Solskjaer has been there, they've done very well against the top big sides. But I mean, they when they come up against the Burnleys, when they come up against the West Ham. Okay, West Ham is pretty good this season, but when they come up against these teams, then they tend to falter. And I don't know whether they've got too much BMT and not enough SMT. So I don't know, but I think Man United's biggest enemy or biggest weakness is probably when they come up against the smaller sides. I mean, they just don't turn up. I think it's what happens when a Baroka plays Chiefs. I mean, Baroka is a beast when they play Chiefs, but yet when they play against TTM and Maritzburg, they are weak, you know. So I think Man United definitely, I think maybe they need leadership in that team. Harry Maguire is not a leader. I think Bruno should probably take over the captaincy for that club. I mean, he is the heart and soul of the team. So I think they should really consider their leadership. I think that's where, because all the great leaders in Man United, your Wayne Rooney's, your Nemanja Vidic's, your Rio Ferdinand's, those are the guys that push the team. So right now, I don't see Harry Maguire pushing Man United. I just don't see it.
But if we're being honest,
I think
if we're being honest, Man United has never really been a great team. They just had a great manager. Pre-Ferguson, they were average. Post-Ferguson, still average. No?
I think with Ferguson, he didn't have the big players, but he had guys that would win games for him. So, and that played for him. I think, they were quite good as a collective. Individually, I mean, they were not that great. I think defensively they were beasts, but attacking wise, not always the best.
Okay. And Mahau, who's winning the league in the EPL? Done dusted?
I think it's gone, man. Man City has taken it. Has gone. It's good. But what I like, I'm enjoying the way Leeds United is playing. I think they will have another season again. Hopefully next season, maybe they might challenge the league. Hopefully.
Leeds United.
Yeah.
No way.
Hey man.
That's a big no. Let's not.
No, I thought you said Leicester. I was like, but Leicester's not a United, it's a City. But I was like, no way.
But I don't want to talk about my team, so I'm trying to avoid my teams. Yeah.
Liverpool won't reach the top 4.
I disagree with you. Look, there's what, 14 games to go? I don't think it's over. Yeah, I still think City's still gonna slip up.
I think
City's still gonna lose some points.
I think we might get a position number 3.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
No.
Who's gonna stop us? Chelsea.
But
Liverpool is fighting.
Liverpool is literally playing with 2 central midfielders as defenders, and it has not worked. And they've only brought in 1 centre back. So, I mean, they're hoping the other guys get back quickly. But right now, it's I don't see them challenging for anything. And I mean, it's unfortunately they don't have the Van Dijks, they don't have the Matips, they don't have all their big players are not there, and that's a huge problem because Henderson looks good on the ball, but he is not a defender at the end of the day. Fabinho, same story as well. So I think Liverpool, maybe if we're really pushing it, maybe fourth.
Yo, if we're pushing it, guys, gents, okay. Enough with the personal attacks. Enough with the personal attacks. Who's winning the Champions League?
Oh,
man, Champions League is open.
That's tricky.
Very
yeah,
open.
It's still wide open. Yeah.
I think let's wait for today's games because I know that Barca is playing against PSG, the biggest game today, and then
Liverpool.
We can take it from there because I feel like it's very difficult to predict the Champions League, particularly the fact that it's still the first leg of the last 16, so we don't really have an idea of how the teams are right now. And remember, bear in mind, just because the team's not performing well in their domestic league doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to perform well. Yeah. And Liverpool has a history of that. They usually do bad, so they end up doing extremely well in the Champions League. And you find that if Klopp wins the Champions League this season, it's actually a good season for him. With his capacity to potentially remain again next season. So I think for now, let's wait, maybe potentially after the second leg of the last 16, and then we can actually predict.
Stuff, man. I think we kind of have a great idea or pretty good idea of who supports who thinks what of who. And very great introduction. What do you gents think?
Yeah, Liverpool is winning tonight. That's what I think.
My man.
A lovely draw.
Yeah, man.
I'm looking at...
Yeah?
Yeah. No, you go for it. I mean, Kabak is there. So I think we're going to have a pretty solid game tonight. RB Leipzig might just lose 2-0, my opinion.
No, yeah, I think they're playing at home. RB are playing at home.
Yes, RB are playing at home. So
I think that might make it easy for Liverpool.
I'm gonna say
I'm going for a 2-1 Liverpool win.
There we go.
Man, I think I'm gonna go for Liverpool. I think they're gonna just 2-0 victory. I think it's gonna be a lot relaxed. Not playing at Anfield, even though we all know there's no fans. But I think it's gonna be the pressure is gonna be off slightly, because they're in a different competition. They're away as well. So yeah, man, I foresee Liverpool just getting a 2-0 victory there.
Yeah.
All right, gents. Any closing words from y'all? Let me start off with Jackie.
Well, man, guys, I'm looking forward to working with you guys. I think it's a great platform, particularly for potential sportcasters like you, like all of us right now. I'm looking forward to learning a lot from you guys too. And I'm also looking forward to sharing my knowledge with regards to different sporting code. And yeah.
Let's have some fun, man. Mohau?
Yeah, it was a nice one. Big ice break. So hopefully the next couple of things now we'll hear about my IQ and then talking straight. But yeah, I'm looking forward to more episodes, more recordings. Yeah.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, man. I think it's exciting. I can't wait for us to actually cover also other sporting codes. Because I think there's a lot to like get into cricket.
CSA. There's drama, CSA.
It's there's a lot to talk about. So quite exciting. We should get a bullhorn. I don't know why, but that I think it's ambiance. Should get a bullhorn.
Boo, 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 boo.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to the banter that we're gonna have. We did only cover mostly football today, only football actually.
Yeah.
So we should cover other sporting codes, cricket, rugby. I'm an American football and basketball fan as well. Hope the gents are into that as well. So we can talk about how Tom Brady's not human and how much I hate him.
Hey, and tennis, guys. Tennis. The likes of Serena Williams and Naomi each other.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. We need to cover that as well. All right, gents. It's been a great episode. Love and peace to all of you Kaizer Chiefs fans. The sky's the limit to all the Sandawana fans, and you will never win alone.
Peace.
Cheers. Sharp, sharp.
Sure.
Keep you right.
Join us every week on the Banter Club.